Nice.
You to say hi. It's my little girl, AP.
Hello.
Hey.
AP.
All right.
Hello.
I have to go blow dry my hair. I will be back.
Hi, AP. You know you're kind. Hi, AP. You know you're kind of famous. We're all watching your videos.
Yay.
They're really good. You like making the videos?
Yes, and I like being on conference calls too sometimes.
Oh, awesome. Well, you're always welcome.
Thank you. Go win.
Oh, yeah. You have an awesome dad. Thanks, MP.
Morning.
Yeah.
Good
I
morning.
wish I had her philosophy on conference calls.
Oh man, you know the other day we're painting our house and everything, and it was the other night, and I was like tired because we painted all day, and I said, hey, you want to let's go kick back and go watch a movie or something. She goes, all right, come on, I got a game for us. I said, a game? She goes, yeah, come on. So she puts us in the room. She turns off the lights. She says, okay, I need you to give me 10 push-ups. I said, what? We're in the dark. And then she goes, I want you to give me 10 jumping jacks. And then we have the bed against the wall. And she goes, I want you to punch it 10 times because she sees me do boxing. And he goes, okay, don't quit. Give me 10 more. And then she goes, give me 10 push-ups. Give me 10 jumping jacks. She made me do that. And she goes, don't quit. Does your coach tell you to quit? Keep going.
On in-house motivator. That's great.
Wow. I was ready to kick back and go to sleep. She made me do another set of workouts.
Nice.
So we have some people who joined us. Hello, Karen. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, 7 o'clock is sleeping late for me, and it's Sunday, so I just woke up. I'm like, oh, shit, 7.
Good morning to you. And Claudine?
Yes, hi everyone.
Welcome. Where are you calling in from?
Montreal.
Cool. Very cool. And there's
Yeah.
Robin. Robin's back.
Well, yeah, I haven't blow dried yet, so I will be back. I'll be right back.
No problem. Everyone getting ready in the morning. For me, it's already 4 p.m. over here, so.
Oh, where are you?
I'm in Israel, in Tel Aviv.
Oh, okay, nice.
So, Yali, how long have you been in Israel?
I was born here in Israel, and I moved out to the States when I was 6. I started first grade in Connecticut. I moved to New York, came back to Israel for junior high, high school, and military service for 2 years. And when I was out, I went to Los Angeles, and since then I've become kind of global and lived also in Germany and Canada and several other areas.
Wow.
So my nickname here in Israel is Yali Globali, which is global. Yeah.
That's nice.
We have someone on the phone who joined us. Who's on the phone? Someone muted, possibly. All right, we're just going to give it 1 more minute because it's already getting late. So 1 more minute.
What is?
Little bit.
All right, everyone. Who's ready to rock?
Me.
Awesome. Well, I want to begin by really saying thank you to all of you. We have quite a few people on the call with us today. So I want to start by saying thank you for getting up in the morning and getting on this call. Thank you for joining me on the 100-Day Challenge 2015. And I want to start with a round of applause that really acknowledges each of us, acknowledge yourselves and the people around you for making 2015 count for yourselves and for everyone around you. Let's give it a round of applause.
Ah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this feels awesome to say the least. I'm really so super excited by what's happened. 2 years ago, I was doing this 100-day challenge on my own because I heard about it from my coach, and I went through all the ups and downs myself and blogged about it, and it was very challenging. But I made some dreams happen, and it really encouraged me and motivated me. And this year, I was so excited to have such a beautiful community of people from Tony Robbins events and such that I decided to tell a few people, and before I knew it, it became this community almost that I was just so inspired by. So it really gives us a chance to, you know, encourage and inspire and empower each other throughout the challenge, which is basically what I live for. I had decided a couple years ago to live my life. I made a few changes in my life that were really extreme. I lost about 100 pounds. I left a 7-year relationship. I opened businesses. I became an entrepreneur and changed a lot of things in my life. And when I decided to do that, you know how Tony Robbins says that everything happens like a decision, it's a matter of an instant. And I remember that instant when I chose to live, I said I would live my life all the way, and I would make it count, and that I would take people along with me. And ever since then, it's been my passion and purpose in life to empower millions of people to live a life that they love. And I think that this is a way for me to begin to really do that. So thank you for that opportunity. It's really exciting and amazing. I want to tell you guys a little bit, like just a few rules for the call, and then a little bit about what this call is going to be like. So the rules and instructions are these. First of all, if you guys have any background noise, then please mute yourselves while you do. The rest of the time, I'm actually going to be happy to have you not on mute in case I ask a question or we have to clap our hands and you forget. Functions that are awesome for the call. I don't know if you guys have me on speaker view, which means that you're seeing just me right now. But if you'd like a little thumbnail view of everyone, which is kind of exciting, make sure you're not expanded on full screen right now. And when you're not, you'll see on the top, if you move your cursor on the screen, you can change between speaker view and gallery view. So you can see everyone here and really enjoy that sense of like, wow. Another function that you have is raising your hand. So if I'm talking or somebody else is talking and you guys want to share and don't want to interrupt, you guys can use the settings on the bottom. In the settings, oh, sorry, not settings, sorry. Next to that, there's participants. If you click on participants, then you can see the function where you can raise your hand. And it's pretty cool. There's also a function of settings. The settings will allow you to check your video and audio in case you're having any trouble during the call. And there's a chat, and the chat allows you to either write a public message to everyone, or you can private message anyone if you'd like during the call. Anybody have any questions regarding the functions of the call?
I don't seem to have all the functions on my phone, so
Oh,
I don't.
right. Some of
I
you
know
for your phone.
Hand raising before, but that was on the computer.
I think there might be it. Try to play around, but I don't know because I'm not on it, unfortunately.
Right.
If you just when I tap my phone, they're at the bottom. You just have to tap it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Hi, Katuna. I don't find the I see that the video audio invite, but I don't have the hand raising. But I'm okay.
Okay.
Just raise your hand. We'll see you. Wait.
True. Another thing I want to say is everyone who talks in the call, please start by saying your name where you're from and what day you're on the challenge. That way we get to know you a little bit. And that way the people on the phone get to understand what's going on because we don't expect them to recognize everyone's voices. So we'll do that. And I want to continue by saying the point of this call is really to be more of a conversation. It really is a chance for us to review what we've gone through. Some of us it's already been a week for, some have started even beforehand on the 1st, and some have just joined us in the last couple of days. So I really want to get to know where you guys are at. I want us to also look back at different posts that inspired us on our 100-day challenge group. So feel free throughout the call to browse or bring up one of the posts that really empowered you or you have something to say about. We can discuss that as well. And after we discuss where we're at, we'll have some time for questions. So you guys can ask anything about the challenge or, you know, anything that you want to have answered. This is the opportunity. Okay, everyone cool with that?
Right.
Yes. Okay, so I usually start with myself, but actually decided to change it up today, and I want to start with one of you guys, and I'll continue on and speak a little later. So who wants to begin and tell us a little bit about where they're at?
I will, I guess.
Hi, Vivian. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Vivian.
Oh, hi. Good morning. My name is Vivian. I live in New York. I used to, many years ago, I read a few books of Tony Robbins and when I used to live in Florida. And just to make a long story short, last year was a very important year for me. And as I just was browsing, it came up and I just went for it in Dallas to the UPW. And I think that was the best thing I ever did. It took me many years to do it, but it was just the best thing I did last year. And through that experience, it inspired me it took me not right away, but it inspired me to motivate myself and really start thinking of everything that it was said and analyzing and really thinking that it's true. You know, we don't live life to the fullest. So turning 50 made me realize it's like, no, I have to make a change and it has to be now.
Wow. So what day are you on? When did you start the challenge?
The challenge I just started basically because I had to come back from Florida to New York. So I registered like very, very quickly. I started day number 1.
Wow.
Yay.
Yes. Yay. I'm looking forward to catch up and next week I'll be on track.
Very cool. So you have some work cut out for you. So there's there's a form there that will give you, it's called the orientation. It's supposed to be before day 1, but you can still go ahead and see it. It'll have a checklist that you can go through and make sure that you've done the whole process on day 1. Is there anyone else on day 1 here on the call?
Nope.
All right, cool. So thank you, Vivian. You'll have time to ask questions if you have any in a little bit.
Thank you.
Cool. So who else wants to share? And I really encourage you guys to use this opportunity to, share yourselves because this is a community.
I'd love to go, Yali.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think I'm on day 7. Is that right? I'm not awake yet. So I think I'm on day 7. I started this on the 5th.
Yeah.
And one area that I've been challenged is just coming up with 10 things to do every day. I've never been a list maker. I've always just kind of been what I've always called it, a go with the flow, which I now find it was just an excuse, not to get somewhere. So I'm interested to hear about people and what they choose for their 10 things every day, because I feel it's a little bit of a cop out. I have every day, I have a standard that, to drink my water. And I did notice I was having trouble drinking my 8 glasses of water, 6 to 8, and then I realized I'm drinking 20-ounce glasses. But the beauty is that I look at that list and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't done that. And man, I go running. Let me get that book. Let me get that. I need to write that out. Let me type this up. Oh no, that's on my list today. And I would have totally forgotten if I'd gotten up in the morning and said, oh God, I need to make sure to do these things today. The day goes by and I forget. And without that, just that 10 points, even if there's only 6 or 7 that are really juicy, because I have, that I have to get up and make my top 10 list, that I need to listen to the video, that I need to drink my water. Those 7 things that are juicy, I'm getting them done because they're on the list.
Cool. First of all, it's great to hear that, you're getting those things done. So pat yourself on the back for that. I think that a lot about today is, to view your results. If you're like me on day 7, then it's really looking back and seeing what your results were, and take that kind of point of view of, what worked and what didn't work. And let's say that the thing with the 10 things to do is something that didn't necessarily work for you. But what did work, or what else have you been going through for the past 7 days? It's been quite a while, so you probably have some stuff to tell us, some more stuff to tell us. What's been interesting?
I never find my struggles interesting. So, I some days, one day I almost forgot, and, so just kind of stumbling through being purposeful. And my big challenge is work, because work is not my priority, but I have a really good job, and my boss would like it to be my priority, but my priority is to get the hell out of work, because at 59, I realized I could be working for somebody the rest of my life, and I can't go into the last quadrant or section of my life working for somebody else forever. So, striving to accomplish a serious goal so that I could become financially sound, on my own is really been fulfilling.
Cool, that's good to hear. Now, if you had to look back at the last week, hold on one sec. Katana, can I please ask you to stop sharing the screen, just because it's changing the video for all of us, and it's a little bit confusing.
Sorry, I'm trying to get used to how to work this, and yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. So sorry, Karen. So if you look back at the last 7 days and had to pick 3 wins, 3 victories, what would those be? What would you, what would you give yourself a pat on the back for? And right after that, we'll let Bert tell you something too.
Well, at UPW, I've done dog rescue for 25 years, and I'm an accountant. So I've worked all my adult life and done dog rescue after work. And so at UPW, I decided that I need to incorporate a nonprofit. So I have come up with my name, come up with my mission, and come up with my bylaws. And that is huge.
Wow. That is definitely a win. So what else is a win? And, thanks to the challenge.
Totally.
What else can you find that's a win? I want 3 things.
Well, certainly drinking water, because water has been an issue for me. I never drink water, so I'm all over drinking water. And then the third thing is work, because I'm positioning myself, and I haven't been able to talk to my boss yet, to work part of every day at home so that I don't have to spend 10 hours a day away from home and have a house full of dogs that aren't attended to.
Awesome. First of all, I want to start by giving you a round of applause for the wins of this week.
Thanks, Jelly.
I think that's really awesome. And,
Great job.
1 week is normally not a long time, but I see a lot of the challenge being about changing even little things. You know how Tony says 2 millimeters is all it takes a day. And it's really forming new habits throughout the challenge that support your ultimate goals. So if you look back and see what those things were where you've actually gone that way, and you can also assess and measure, what didn't work for you and how you can create new habits to support those areas in your life as well throughout the rest of the challenge. So I think that's a great perspective, and you have your after action review to do, and you can share that with us and see what you come up with. Now, Bert wanted to say something, so Bert, go ahead.
You kind of did it for her. I was going to say, one of the things that I got from the challenge is with any goal that you set, the most important thing is tracking it, because what happens with resolutions, everybody says, I'm going to do X, and then there's no follow-up. There's no follow-through. So the after-action review is really critical, because it's the proverbial kick in the pants when you say, okay, here's what I said I was going to do. Here's what I actually did. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What must I change in order to get back on track? And when you have a good day, I do an after-action review on that day. When I have a bad day, I do an after-action review on that day, because that's how I learn. What I did with making my daily 10 lists, which is the question you asked earlier, is I did this before. This is my second challenge. I'm on day 11, by the way. And what I do every morning is first I look at my 3 challenge goals, okay? Because I want to place the big rocks first on my list. I don't want to start with, change cat litter, because while that's important for the cat, it's not going to help me get closer to what I really want in life, except a cleaner smelling house sometimes. So I start by looking at my challenge goals, and I look at, and I use the ABC scoring system. So A to me means vital, must be done today. B means should be done today. And C means I'll probably do it because I like it, but they're not going to get me anywhere. So I'll look at what's on the challenge list, and I'll go, what's vital? What am I procrastinating on? What has a deadline that's due? And what can I do from it? Maybe I made the task too big. So I might ask myself the question, what on this list can I get done in the next 15 minutes? And then I add that to my 10 list. And I make sure that every day I put at least 1, 2, or 3, no more than 3 items on my task list that has to do with something regarding the challenge. And the rest of the items can be whatever has to be done for your business. I'm self-employed, so pretty much everything on my list has to do with my business. The other thing I did is I created what I call a 1 through 31 list, because I got tired of putting on my daily 10 items list watch challenge video, because that's my number 1 is watch the video and get that out of the way. That's the first thing in the morning. That gets my head straight. But I get tired of writing that every day. So I created a list that has, on the left side, it has all the items like watch video, create my commitment list, so forth and so on. Write 1 article, make 15 art, whatever it is has to do with my business. And those items, I just check them off. And what appears on my to-do list is check 1 through 31. So whatever items are on there, workout, exercise, cardio, all those things, they could take up the entire list because they're just normal routine items. But I like to get a check mark. I like to cross things off. They say that you get an endorphin from that. I just, get a kick from it. So I want to have that, and I want to check it off. And what I'll do is I'll put a copy of the 1 through 31 that I created in the file section, so you guys can see what it looks like and use it if you like. So that's my my 2 things. 1 through 31, daily task list based on my goals first, and of course, an after action review every 7 days. I do mine on Sundays, which is not my 7th day, but I made it a point because I have more time on Sunday. And if I have a good day or a bad day, I immediately print out a form and I just do an after action review on it, just to get my head straight. So that's all I got.
That is awesome, Bert. Thank you. Karen, did you get anything from that?
Well, I did because, you know, I think that I'm trying to set my goals too high to meet my top objectives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do too much every day, so I need to be easier on myself. I have 100 days. I'm getting there.
Yeah, you have enough time to get better.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for. Claudine?
Yes, hi everyone. I'm so happy to be here this morning with you. Seriously, like Montreal, there's not a lot of people that I met in Dallas from Montreal, so I'm so grateful. So the thing I wanted to say, and it's along with what Bert said and Karen said, is my problem that I've been working on is I never has this feeling of fulfillment. So one of the goal I identified in Dallas was really I have to be, you know, not only be satisfied about everything that I accomplished. I'm an entrepreneur too. I have my own business and it's thriving, but I've never felt like fulfilled and satisfied. And doing the 100-day challenge, I noticed that even with having a task list with priorities that would help me enforce my fulfillment feeling every day, I'm putting myself such high goals on a daily basis that I'm crying my balls off at the end of the day saying I'm not good enough and, you know, I'm not accomplishing enough. You relate to that, Karen?
Totally.
And I was like, what's wrong with me? Why am I doing Dallas with Tony Robbins? Why am I doing this 100-day challenge? And I'm still crying at the end of the day in my kitchen with my dog and my boyfriend being like, what's wrong with you? You're accomplishing so much. But I don't see it because I'm such a high-performant person that I still put the line very, very high for myself. So I just realized that having this 100-day challenge, you still have to be very realistic with deadlines and the goals that you want to reach, because, you know, there's so much you can do in a day. And thank you, Bert, for sharing like your way and strategy of you know, setting goals and very specific challenging goals versus the routine tasks. I don't know about you guys, but doing the routine task and checking it off actually feeds my fulfillment feeling about myself that, oh, I'm going to the gym. Oh, I'm going for a hike with my dog. Oh, I'm eating my lunch, you know? So it really feels great. So, and one more thing, if I may share, am I the only one, or with Transformation Day in Dallas, when I don't reach my goal, or I know I'm not working hard enough, or I'm not working in the right direction and I'm not using the tools, I feel this pain coming very, 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 very fast now. Remember when we were in that state and you had to project yourself as if you didn't change anything in your life? Yeah. And then you had to feel and intensify that pain of staying in the same life. I feel it like almost on a daily basis, like very strong, a lot of anxiety comes out. Like, how do you deal with that? Because I'm on a roller coaster and I'm going out of my mind, but I know it's fear that I'm living, and it's a good sign because I'm changing, but it's very overwhelming. So how is anyone feeling that, and how are you overcoming this on a daily basis?
All right, Claudine. First of all, if anybody wants to talk, unless you're on the phone, you can use the raise your hand function. That'll just help us manage this. And Claudine, thank you so much for sharing those points. It really takes something from you and Karen, you know, to share your struggles. And I think it's so valuable because we can all relate on one level or another. So thank you for pointing that out. And I actually wanted to give you my little recommendation that's worked for me, because this happens to me as well, you know, not maybe not as intensely, or some days are better than others, but I feel that I've gotten better at it throughout the challenges that I've done. So this time I'm actually not as hard on myself as I used to be, because I've seen the progress happen, even though I thought that I wasn't like good enough throughout. So now I know to relax in that place. But to answer, first of all, your first point that you made on the challenge itself, I recommend putting a task for yourself to really point out 3 wins every single day. Because just like you said, that marking off makes you feel amazing. End of the day, looking back, and not necessarily relating specifically to the goals that were written, but generally, what in this day was your win? And if you guys want, we can even make a habit of sharing that on the group. It's very, very empowering. I have an accountability buddy, my friend Jana, and we actually text each other our 3 wins every single night before we go to bed. That keeps us accountable to doing that. And yes, last night, just doing that, I was like kind of moody last night, because I had only done very, very little of what I planned last night. But I had something very huge and amazing. I had a call with Tony Robbins' son, Jared Robbins. And it's just like I'm so grateful for having that opportunity that I couldn't believe that I felt bad after. And when I had to, it's only when I had to really write down for my friend, what my wins were. I was like, I don't have any wins today. And she's like, boo-hoo, yeah, poor thing. You talk to Jared Robbins and you do all these amazing things, and you have a call with like a bunch of people from all over the world tomorrow just for you. And and I got out of that state of mind, and I decided to look at what my wins really were. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm playing this game. And I started filling the text up with way more than 3 things, just because it really started empowering me to look at what I can be grateful for and what I did achieve. So I really recommend that exercise. Another thing that I've noticed, I was going to share it when I share about my week, but I'll share it right now because it's relevant to you, that I find that when I focus on a lot of different things throughout one day, that it gets me confused. It becomes a little messy. I expect to do something on my website and read this book and do that and do this. And one day I was so pissed off at not getting all these things done that I just wrote out like how much time, how long do I think each task actually requires to complete and get to a certain point at, right? For example, if I'm reading Money Master the Game now, and I put it on my list for every single day, and sometimes I don't get to it and it pisses me off, so I'll write down how long that would take if I, mashed it all together. What's the maximum if I give up other stuff? And I was like, oh, wow, it's just a few days. So see how long you think each task, not task, but each like goal, not the eventual goal, but the weekly goal, for example, would take. And then tell yourself maybe you can minimize the amount of stuff you do in a day and focus on like 1, 2, or 3 specific goals that you have, and then find 10 tasks that are around that. Because once you're already concentrated on a certain item, it's way easier to continue with that. And just to answer your very last point about what you felt what you feel every day, the anxiety that comes up that reminds you of the exercise at UPW, how about making it a task for yourself to visualize the opposite, to have that like a morning ritual, waking up, maybe priming, and then doing the visualizing exercise of where you're going to be. How does that sound to you? Oh, you're on mute.
I want to say, Ollie, that I think it was in an introduction video or somewhere in the introduction, it said every day to visualize, you know, how it would be if you had achieved your goal, your main goal. So, yeah, I do that daily. Try and feel it.
Yeah, I stated my mantras of the day. I have huge posters in my bedroom, so every time I go to bed, every time I wake up, they're there. That's my life. I don't know. It's like, I have to admit that in Dallas, I worked on such big entrenched fears and patterns. I'm trying. I was having a conversation with my boyfriend because he's been such an amazing person and best friend throughout the journey, and I'm trying to find, you know, you have the habit cycle. So you have your trigger, you have your routine, and you have your reward. So I was thinking, because even though I visualize, even though I post it everywhere, even though I say it out loud, my pattern is it's stronger than I thought, because it's just there. And I don't want to accept that it's me. I don't want to accept that it's there. I want something better for myself. But it's so, I don't know, guys. I don't know how to say this. It's coming back really tough to me every time. So I'm trying to find a reward that will be stronger, bigger, greater towards my goal in order for me to change my routine. Not that I'm not trying, not that I don't want to, but the pattern is so, it's bringing me a kind of a reward that's, like I feel sorry for myself, my boyfriend attention, my friends support. And you know that the journey is very lonely. So I have a feeling that when I have pity for myself with this pattern, that I get all this attention, even though I've spent days by myself working on my business, if that makes sense. It's very hard for me to admit because I'm not like seeking for attention. But so I'm looking, I don't know if you can help me find a reward that would be greater so that my pattern cannot take over anymore. And I have this new routine that I'm, working on with the 100-day challenge. Right. So it's very deep. It's very deep, Yali. And
Christy, wow. Again, thank you. You are bringing up major, incredible points. And the idea of a reward is incredible. And right after this, just point out that I'll let Christy and Bert say something too. But the idea of a reward is incredibly amazing. I've been putting huge rewards for myself for the end of the challenge. Regardless of the rewards that you get by achieving your goals, right? But a vacation that you haven't had or something that would really, really be worth your time is definitely important, along with weekly rewards, like what's something that you can reward yourself weekly for? How can you go over your after action review and then celebrate the things that you completed? And also another note, I'll be happy, Claudine, if you speak to me after the call and we'll talk, brainstorm other ideas that I have for you on a personal level as far as coaching and stuff like that you can go through that will also motivate you. But keep going. I'm so proud of you for being on the challenge. And a challenge it is. I told this to Karen too. And this is what you should be going through. If you don't feel challenged, you're probably doing something wrong. You want to be out of your comfort zone. You want to let life point out all the things that don't work so that you know what you can improve. And then these things that don't work, it's about changing little tiny things that are habits that come along with that. You can maybe look at when it is, what situation or circumstance it is when you feel, that stress coming up. What's that? It's kind of a ritual. It's built in. You don't notice it. So where are you? What is your body doing? And then change your state and new ritual, a new, habit around that. Christy?
Hey there. I just wanted to touch on what Claudine was saying, because when I was listening to Claudine talking, what I was hearing was that she was talking about the definition of a habit where you get some kind of a trigger and then you have the habit. So I used to be addicted to McDonald's fish sandwiches, and then I would get some kind of a reward from that. And in some of the Tony Robbins programs, there's this program where he talks about the Crazy Eight, and he maybe did a little bit of that in UPW, where we either get to a place with our comfort zone, which is, you know, a little bit where we're connected with ourselves. Oh, poor me, I have all this problem, or I have all these goals and I have no fulfillment, and how blah, blah, blah. Or like, I got a freaking, you know, I'm pissed off, this is never going to happen again, like that kind of thing. And so what we do is to escape these two extremes is we go someplace. So I would eat fish sandwiches, or maybe you shop, or what have you. And to me, this sounds so like, how can this really work? But this whole notion of visualization really makes a difference. So I'm 5'8". Last week I was 218. I'm going to lose 29 pounds in 100 days. And when I really visualize getting to my goal weight and how I feel, something gets triggered in me. And I traveled, and I'm going to get this to Claudine, so I'm kind of bringing a whole bunch of things together. I traveled last week, and I'm at an airport. I always have cocktails in an airport. It's just like what I do. But actually, I didn't do that at all, because that's not how I feel being a lean, mean, fighting machine. So that visualization, which sounds a little funny, really, I feel it on a cellular level, and I live who I want to be in the future right now today. So I was going to suggest, Claudine, that with your goal of wanting fulfillment, that maybe it might help, like it helped with me in my weight, is really, like you have your posters and all that, which is awesome. Take one area, or take what fulfillment feels like, and for 5 minutes, and there's this cool audio I can send you, which is like a visualization audio. It's on RPM, it's on day 4. And you really visualize feeling fulfilled, being on top of the world, and you're doing X or whatever your goals are, and get that in your cellular level. And then as you start to have your triggers, you say to yourself, oh, wait a second, I'm fulfillment, or whatever that is. And it just made a difference for me. And so I wanted to share that with you and say hello to everybody.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you for that. That was valuable. And I want to actually mention visualization. Oh my God, some words are hard to say. And inspire you guys with something. But a moment before that, I want to let Bert say what he had to say, and then we'll go back to the visualizing. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you. One of the things I was going to say to, I believe it was Janie's question. No, it wasn't Janie. It was Christine, maybe. Regarding, you know, one of the things I realize is that people who are performers, who are top performers, we believe we can handle more, and we feel that we must handle more. And no matter, and we also have this little problem, which is as much as we do, we think we can still do better. You know, one of the things I found out long ago is that the guy who reads a positive thinking book, he's the guy who wants to do better. And the people that don't, they don't think they can. One of the things I found, which is Anthony Robbins, when he first started up, what made him famous was this thing called fast phobia cures. And he used an NLP technique called the swish pattern. And the swish pattern is just where you take a mental image of something that you don't like. Like I used it years ago. I was a young guy in the insurance business, and I went to work for an agency. And I was killing it. I was always a top performer, but I decided I wanted to get it. I wasn't making enough commission percentage, and I wanted to sign up with another company and start my own business. And in the interim, the general agent changed, and he ended up terminating me before I had all my little pawns in place to make the switch. So my commission went to 0, and that impacted me because I was a young guy, never been fired, been working since I was so little. And so I used the swish pattern to basically take that situation and lessen the mental intensity of it, the emotion of it. If you go to YouTube, there's a great video that shows like a 20-year-old Anthony Robbins with that baby face doing it. It's just Google Anthony Robbins swish pattern. It's also on the Personal Power tapes if you have those, the original ones that made him a couple of $1 million bucks. The other thing I wanted to mention is regarding rewards. My buddy who originally got me involved in the 100-day challenge, he was looking to compete in a bodybuilding event. And the thing that he did that would drive him is, when you're dieting and you're working out every day and you don't have time for your girlfriend and you don't have time for your friends and it's get up, work out, go to work, go home and do it all over again the next day, it gets pretty monotonous and repetitious. So he set a goal that he was going to go away on vacation at the end of the 100 days, regardless of how he performed. That was his reward for doing it. And the other thing he taught me was don't strive for perfection, strive for progress. So I want to do 100%, but since I set very high goals for myself, I look at it as a report card. If I want to get an A on this subject and I get a B+, am I going to cry about it? Hey, I got a B. It's 80%. I did 80% of the goal. Now that's progress. Now how can I get to that 100? Because the first time we do something, we're never going to be perfect at it. If you think you're going to be perfect at this challenge and you're going to hit all your goals, forget about it. I originally set 10 goals. By the middle of the challenge, I was down to 5. And at the end, I only accomplished 2. But I focused in on the best 2. But there was things I didn't do. One of my goals was to do 100 days of cardio, 1 hour a day for 100 days, no miss. That didn't happen. Life gets in the way. So, don't beat yourself up. Focus on progress. Use that after action review, and definitely what Yali said regarding the wins, absolutely. If you're a top performer, you tend to beat yourself up and you don't celebrate your wins as much. So, yeah, that was a great one. That was a good aha for me as well. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Bert. That was really, really awesome. All right, I want to show you guys right before we go back to sharing. You mentioned visualization, Christy, and I have something that really, really inspired me in that area. So maybe it'll inspire you guys, just because I think that visualizing is really important. So just going to show you this little clip that I actually created after watching the video that inspired me. And it might not be in sync if I show it to you guys, so I apologize for that. But you'll hear it and see it. So just one moment, I'll share it with you. And you guys can also tell me what you get out of it.
A lot of people look at my before and after pictures and they wonder, how I did that. I can tell you that the body that I have now is exactly the body that I visualized having. And I'm not sure that's a coincidence. And I thought about why is visualization so powerful for weight loss and visualization for body changing in general, because Arnold Schwarzenegger said he used to use visualization to become a professional champion bodybuilder, and he was one of the best bodybuilders. And I've talked to so many other people that have been so successful with visualization, but what I realized is visualization is like a language that you can use to talk to your subconscious. Your subconscious is the part of your brain that's in charge of a lot of things, but one of the things it's in charge of is your body's unconscious processes. How much oxygen you need is not a conscious thought. You don't think how much, I should breathe more. That's unconscious. How much your heart beats is unconscious. And how fat or thin you should be is an unconscious decision, but it is a decision. And the problem with this subconscious or unconscious part of us is that it doesn't speak English. And so we're being run by a brain that we can't talk to. But what I realized is visualization is like a language that you can use to talk to your unconscious. Because just like you can't talk to someone who doesn't speak your language, say you have to go to the bathroom in a foreign country, you could ask 1,000 people where the bathroom is, they won't tell you. But if you draw a picture of a bathroom on a napkin in the restaurant or something and show it to anyone instantly, they know what you mean. Visualization is the universal, or symbols, is the universal language for people that don't speak your language. And your body doesn't speak your language. When you make a visual image of the way you'd like to look, it could be you at another time, you're fit and healthy and happy, or it could be somebody else. It doesn't matter. Just look at the picture for 30 seconds with kind of like, if you're looking through the picture in an unconscious way, don't look at the picture with your eyes, look through it. Let your subconscious absorb it for just 30 seconds. And then close your eyes and either see yourself, feel yourself, imagine yourself being in that body. Imagine yourself walking on the beach with that body. Whatever way you can do it, you do it when your mind is calm and powerful and relaxed. Your subconscious understands. And it understands that it doesn't need fat and that it's confusing the stresses because it really doesn't know what to do with the stresses of modern day life. Do I get fatter? Do I get thinner? How do I protect this person who's so scared? So sometimes it uses fat. But when you can communicate with your subconscious and say, no, that's not the answer. I appreciate it, but that's not what's happening. Then, okay, I'll turn the thought programs off. Just like that, everything changes.
All right, so that's something that was really powerful for me and has the beautiful quote by Tony Robbins at the end, so it really inspired me. And I really believe in that. And we're about an hour into the call, and I want us to, we have a half an hour to go. I want us to end this call by doing a little exercise that, that I will lead. Let's go back to sharing. So who else wants to share? And I'm just giving you a reminder, start with your name, where you're from, and what day are you on, what you're experiencing. Also, if it's great stuff.
I'll share.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Matthew Smith. I'm presently living in Salisbury, Maryland. I first started Tony Robbins' work in about 2007. I was going through a divorce, and you know, I just made the decision. I didn't want to live the life I was headed in. And most recently, the way I went to Dallas was, you know, I haven't been. You know, the last day I was in the workforce was August 28th. I made the decision to resign from my employer because, you know, I had bought the ticket to get to UPW in Dallas before I even asked to get vacation from work, which told me that this was something that, you know, was meant to happen. And I was denied vacation, so I made the decision. You know, I'm fortunate that, you know, I had assets to fund my own, you know, vacation from work. I put in my resignation, and, you know, I made sure that, you know, I wanted to make this worth it with all the, you know, blood, sweat, and tears that I went through at my employer. You know, I am a professional salesman. I was going to make it count. I made sure I got Diamond Premier at UPW. I flew myself first class. And, you know, I'm fortunate that I have a support group that insisted and made me hold myself accountable that I wasn't even going to put my resume out until I got back from Dallas. I was going to take some time off to work on myself, for myself, and by myself. And, you know, it's been the best full-time job I've ever had. My new job starts here in Salisbury on January 19th, so I still have another week. This has been the best, you know, working on myself has been the best job I've ever had in my career, and I've been working since I was 15 years old. I've traveled. I even decided to keep count. You know, the time I've been unemployed, you know, since I left the workforce, should I say. And unemployment to me is an involuntary thing. This is something I'm glad I volunteered for. Between traveling and flying, I've traveled over 26,350 miles. I kept count. And, I've learned to, I heard a few people talking about goals. I've learned, in the past 7 days, I've lost 7 pounds. I made it a goal to lose. My weight loss goal, I would like to get at least 60 pounds down. The reason being is because my fly on that, and I found out that when the flies get stronger, the hows do come. Down at UPW, I wanted to, I love extreme sports. I wanted to do a skydive down in Dallas before I came home, and I was overweight. So the only view I got of Dallas was on the plane flying home. And that was my why. I'm like, this is never going to happen again. Never again in my life is my weight ever going to be a factor in me not being able to do what I want to do. And, it's been a journey. This is definitely a move I'm glad I made. I moved here alone. But I've done this 3 other times. My 5-year goal is I would like to be out of corporate America. I'm very fortunate, that I am headed on my, this is the 3rd Fortune 500 company I've worked for in 10 years. I've always been well compensated. Management has always, I've always been blessed to, work with supervision that, made it a fun place to work, but it's not something I want to be doing when I'm 60. So.
Thanks for sharing your story. How are you feeling now what are your thoughts on the challenge? Where are you at?
I feel great. I'm on day 4. It helps me, hold myself accountable. The visual that I get is, and it really came in play when we did the fire walk. You can take a hot piece of wood and set it on fire and it'll burn, or you can put it in a pile and it can burn a lot longer. It made sense to me when I was taught. When I have other people help me hold myself accountable, it helps me compete. I'm the type. I've always been a top performer as well in any field I've been in, because I compete against myself. The only person I compete against myself, and the benefit I get from these conference calls and all the chat rooms and everything is, I don't feel like a loner. The town that I moved from, I felt like that. I was all alone. Everybody made a certain amount of money. They were happy with that. I wasn't. And, it's great to be a part of a group of people who want more than just, what everybody else has or what everybody else thinks is okay.
Definitely. And, and it's good to hear that perspective too, because some of us, have certain goals and we focus on whether it's financial or it's working a certain place, and we forget that it's not always about where you're going to be. It's about who you're going to be and what you're going to feel, and that's really where I find lays like what we're looking for. And usually, if we're not doing something for ourselves, if we're not being who we want to be in our lives, and we get to a certain place that we were working hard for, we get the money, we get the wife, we get the whatever it is, then we find ourselves still like something's missing, and people crash that way. And I've seen that a lot because I coach people that it doesn't matter where they're at in their lives, they go through the same thing. So it's all about, and maybe take this on as something in the challenge to put in on your task list, because you really don't have to pretend things that are major things to do. But who are you going to be today? You know, who are you going to be? I'm going to be a contribution. I'm going to be a listener. I'm going to be, you know, a leader today. I'm going to be brave. Whatever it is that you can be today that will bring you farther and empower you and empower and change things for you, change the perspective, change the day for you. Things that you think are just amazing and you value in other people, be them, because once you're being who you want to be in your life, not only does life, you know, manifest things for you in a better way, because your head is just open and your heart is open and you're being there inside out, but also you're going to start feeling fulfilled and content, not only when you get to your goals, but also on the way there. And it's all about the way there. You know, Tony Robbins says, you know, happiness is progress, right? So don't forget that. So the fact that you're here on this call right now today, the fact that you're challenging yourself, willing to put yourself in a challenging position for 100 days is incredible. It's something to celebrate. It's something to be happy about. And it's something to definitely like raise our hands for, give a hand for it right now. Let's give it another hand.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. Who else here hasn't shared? And I'm giving an opportunity also to the people on the phone. The fact that you're not on video doesn't mean that we don't know you're here. So just want to point that out. You're welcome to share as well.
This is MP from Lubbock, Texas.
AMP.
Hey, real quick question before I start sharing. All the you know, the top 5 goals and the 6 questions and all that. That's one of the first assignments that we need to fill out through the whole thing before we pretty much get started. Is that correct?
Yes. That's the orientation. There's a task that's there, and you can do the MAP, the Massive Action Plan, and fill it out. And there are also the 10 steps, if you guys have seen. There are 10 steps. They really help you when you're writing your goals. Then there are 10 steps that you can follow for each of those goals and complete them as you go. It's not the end of the world, by the way, if it takes you longer. It usually takes me longer to do, and you can go back and refine the things that you've written. And also, if you have different techniques how to write your goals down, go ahead and do that. Do what works for you. Share it with the group. Doesn't have to be exactly that way, but just make sure that you have 3 to 5 goals set for the 100-day challenge within, let's say, 10 days of the challenge. You really want to have those down, including different points throughout the 100 days that you can go back and like be like, okay, this is, you know, you get to the 100 days, you look at the goal that you've had, and then go back into different increments of time and ask yourself, okay, so that means what would I have to complete over here? Like if I have to lose 20 pounds, how many would I have to lose a week beforehand, and a week beforehand? And write those points down so that you can more easily get to that goal. And if you keep going and you see you've been too hard on yourself, where you've set something up for yourself that's just like a major, like you're set up to fail, then make sure that you change it up in a way that can still bring you to the same outcome. For example, you know, why do I even want to lose 20 pounds? Maybe it's because I want to, I don't know, give me an example. Maybe it's because I want to feel awesome about my body. So if it's not working to lose the, I don't know, 5 pounds that I wrote for myself a week, then maybe I can change that up and say, okay, I'm losing 2 pounds a week. But another thing that'll support me feeling awesome about my body is not only losing the weight, it's also maybe doing visualization exercises. Maybe it's, you know, telling myself mantras. Maybe it's building a vision board. It could be anything else. I can eat a certain way. I can, bring something else into my life that makes me feel awesome about my body. And that way you're still getting the same outcome, but you're changing your goals according to what you can accomplish. Sorry, Michael, I just wanted to point that out. You can continue.
Okay. You said massive action plan. I didn't see that in the worksheets, I guess. Is that something?
Talk to me after the call and I'll
Okay.
you, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'm on today's day 8, and so I've been really setting some good goals, and I've accomplished accomplishing a lot of things. But one quick thing I just want to say, Karen was talking about that she never wanted to work for someone, and I remember day 6 or day 5 or 6, it says if you don't learn to discipline yourself, somebody else will discipline you. Doesn't matter from a kid. If you do wrong, you're gonna get disciplined. You know, when you get older, you're gonna get disciplined. If you can't run your own company, you can't do something, somebody will discipline you and tell you exactly what time to be at work, what time to take a break, what time you're supposed to be hungry, what time you're getting off, and what time you're gonna get going. So, you know, me, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been actually having my own business for about 14 years. Not the funnest thing. I've been going through ups and downs, but you know, I've disciplined myself, and with this 100-day challenge, it's actually helped me to do more than I ever thought, you know, especially when we had the challenge of doing 10 times more. And it's crazy because I had a list of everything I had to do, and by 3:00 p.m. I accomplished everything, even though I didn't, those phone calls I was supposed to do, that I was supposed to connect with somebody, I still attempted them, but I went through the process and got those done. And, you know, procrastination is just something that really is set deep inside me. I've been divorced for about 5 years. I actually got I got my house back. So it's like, I've never really done anything with my home. I mean, in procrastination, this hurts me, but it may help someone else on this call. But, you know, I got some, you know, color or paint that I was going to paint my bedroom, just for an example. And I got the sample. I bought the paint. I put it on the wall. Guess what? 3 or 4 years, the sample's still on the wall, and I never painted the room. You know what I'm saying? And just this weekend, I just decided to do it. Somebody called me and says, hey, you know, I was going to put the carpet in 3 of these rooms. I already have the carpet. Look at this. And I already have the carpet inside my garage. I've been having it for, you know, about a month. And the carpet guy calls me, says, hey, Mike, we can do it this day because it's too cold to work at this other job, and we can work inside your house and get it done. I'm like, well, you know, I got too much stuff in the room. And he's like, dude, all you have to do is move it out. So he gets in the truck. I said, we'll find out what I'm going to do. He gets in the truck. I'm standing there in the living room, and I'm thinking, what am I thinking? I'm going backwards. This is the challenge that I had to complete something. So I opened the door, told him to come inside and to get the carpet, you know, let's just do this. So, you know, I got all my stuff out of my rooms and everything like that. All three rooms are done now. We just finished and completed my bedroom. We're going to finish my office this afternoon. And, you know, I didn't lose any time, and I didn't, you know, I actually accomplished something because colors make you feel something. And I just believe my house is a house, but I'm fixing to make it a home. So, you know, for me and my daughter, it just makes a big difference on us, you know. And I've been accomplishing a lot of goals. My little girl's made a vision board since she was 2.5 years old. She's phenomenal. I mean, she's just, man, she did a video yesterday by herself talking about different things. She sees what I do, and she presses harder than me, and she pushes me. And so, you know, kind of jumping on the visualization, I know for like, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a multimillionaire named Holton Buggs, and they, you know, he got a Lamborghini, and everybody's like, wow, how do you feel that you got a Lamborghini? He says, dude, I've had that Lamborghini for about 2 or 3 years already. I had it mentally. I just got it physically now. So, you know, that shows how much we need to visualize, because you get what you vision. You get what you picture, not what you say you want. You get what you picture. I mean, I've got Ferraris and boats and all kinds of stuff on this wall and this wall and this wall. Yeah, it looks crazy with some people, but what you get, what you vision. So I've been really doing good with my goals. I'm just been tracking. What's really, really helping me is that in the morning, I do what a lot of you guys do, is I listen to the videos. But not only that, I have a notebook for everything. I've got one for my 100-day challenge. I got one for my journal. I got one for my other business. So I separate all my journals. So when somebody calls me from the business I'm working on, I'm working with a multimillionaire to actually work with Brian Tracy right now doing alarms. He just called me the other day and I asked him some advice. I didn't just take the advice. I grabbed a book, what I had for just specifically talking to him about running and doing an alarm business here. We're fixing to launch off here in Lubbock, Texas, and what he's told me what to do. And, put those plans in action, because a lot of times we just hear this stuff, okay. But right now, I'm actually accomplishing goals that I haven't done in 3 or 4 years. Physically, mentally, spiritually, it's pushed to the limit, because I think, well, okay, this is my assignment today. And then I start, and what they say, start early, finish strong. Start early, finish strong. So, and I'm just pushing through. And, me and my little girl chat in the morning. My thing is me and my little girl say, I made up a little thing, a little game. It's called the Grateful Game. So we, go to school. On the way to school, I say I'm grateful for, my 2 feet hitting the ground. My little girl would say, hey, I'm grateful for you, Dad. I'm grateful for the home that we have. And, and we bounce that off at least 3 to 5 times every single day before we get to school. So she knows that she's grateful for the smaller things, because I know the bigger things are coming. That's no big deal. I already know that. But if she's not grateful, then, you're going to see her like all these other people have all this money and snobby and just, go crazy and nuts. So, my deal is that teaching the small fundamental things, you can win every time. And fundamental is just put the fun back in fundamental. So, I've been doing great and just running it. So back to you, Ollie.
Thank you, MP. That was powerful. I love your energy. Thank you for that. And Robin says that was awesome too. So thank you. And I agree. It's awesome. And thank you for pointing that out and also reminding us, these little things, that's an example of wins right there. Like, how driven and motivated Michael is. He focuses right now on those little incredible wins, like taking something like painting the wall and deciding to do that. Like, what are those little things that you can definitely accomplish on the 100-day challenge? Put those things on your daily goals. Don't just put the things that, are huge and take 100 days to complete, right? Put the little tiny things that you've been pushing aside that you can do today. Call that person you haven't called. Go ahead and buy that piece of furniture you haven't bought. Write someone a letter. Do something that really will be a win for you. And I recommend doing that in the beginning of the day. You know how this challenge, it's called the Start Fast, Finish Strong Challenge. And there are a few reasons for that. One of the reasons is that you start fast in the beginning of the year, but they also have another 100 days to complete and finish strong, like Bert went through for this challenge, that you can do at the end. But another reason for that is that you can split your day and start it off fast and finish it up strong. So a great way to start fast is start with a win. You doing your morning ritual, no matter what, that includes watching the video, listing the 10 things, that's a win. Then go ahead and follow that up with one task that you can definitely achieve. You can change it up, but do that, because once you have a winner state of mind, you have the energy to go along with it, you're just communicating it everywhere you go, you have way more chances of having that throughout the day and achieving more awesome results as you go. So thank you for that. That really was inspiring, MP. We have time for one more share before we do an exercise to finish this. So go ahead.
I will.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, Katana, Arizona.
Hi, Katana. We'll try to let Robin have a couple minutes too. So let's make it quick, both of you, but go ahead.
No, I'll keep mine quick. I'm done with day 5, starting day 6 today, and I could be farther, but that's okay, because I took kind of a little bit slower approach, because as I shared last week, really connecting to my whys was really important to me, because I didn't want to have a self-defeated feeling inside like people have talked about. And I realized, I think it was Claudia was saying, I really got aware of my triggers, of why I end up where I do. And I have a very ingrained pattern of getting a lot of energy from an anxiousness. And some of that anxiousness creates me to not be early to work, which one of the videos talks about, that we need to be early, you know, be ahead of the game, and that sense of urgency and all of that. And so I've had to really like look at my behavioral patterns. And so I didn't take the approach to press and do each video and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I actually was like staying in the moment and feeling what was going on. And so that was kind of what went on for me this week. So I'm keeping it really simple. There was a lot more than that, and I was bold. I did the I'm bold video, and I made a huge physical change. I've been at the same gym for 2 years, and I'm super involved with them and whatever, but to keep that story short, they stepped on my toes. And one of the issues that I really needed to work through with UPW, so I did 2 UPWs back to back to work through my issue of certainty, because the certainty that I had was not a positive one. It came from trauma in my childhood. And so needing things certain all the time, I stay too long. And even when things aren't good. And so I made a change, and I was bold, and I did it now. I didn't wait and tell them later. I listened to that video, and I go, screw that crap. I'd already picked another place to go. It's actually a franchise, so it was going to be a thing. But bold people are willing to take pie in their face and whatever comes your way. And so it's fine. And I stepped out, and I was bold. But the one thing I wanted to share also that was a very big win for me that I figured out this week too, so that I didn't feel overwhelmed and self-defeated. I found a strategy that worked for me, and I posted it, that I got a smaller portable daily book. And what I did is I have 5 goals, and I attached a color to each goal. So like health and fitness is purple, my business is black, diet is green, my clutter and getting organized is blue, and meeting my husband or my future mate is red. And inside my book, when I'm writing my goals and whatever, each specific goal is color-coded. And then also doing a vision board specifically for those goals. Cool. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm like super happy I did this. And I always tell you thank you. But I was not in a very good state before this started. And I've noticed this week that just energy goes where your focus is. And by having this focus has really been great. And I appreciate you for getting it going, because it's really like just for the people that are frustrated with not being good enough and all of that was talked about, you know, momentum is building. There's the momentum going regardless of what you think you did or didn't do enough of. You're building momentum, and that will quantum leap as this goes.
Totally. Thank you for that. Thank you, Katana. Robin, let's go with you too.
Hello. I am on day 5, and I'm super excited about this. Has anybody actually done the quantum leap where they do the exercise? Has anybody done that?
No.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Nobody's actually done it. I can't wait to do it. But
No,
I just finished my top 5 goals and broke them all down yesterday. So I didn't do it on the first day, you know, trying to catch up. But I'm super excited about everything. And one thing for Claudine, so I've been to UPW, and then I crewed 2 of them, and then I've also done Date with Destiny. So the exercise you're talking about is the Dickens process. So maybe when you're in that part where you're making things worse and worse, remember how they drew the line in the sand, and you step across, and that's when you see yourself in the positive light. Try and do that when you're in that state. You know, draw that line and step across it and break that habit, break that state that you're in. So I think that would help a lot. But I'm super excited about this. This is awesome.
Yay. Thank you, Robin. So we have a few minutes left. I'm going to share like a tiny bit from myself. I'm going to do a little exercise for us so we can end this finish strong. And I'll apologize in advance. This might go a few minutes longer than planned. And afterwards, if anybody wants to say last final words for 30 seconds, you'll be allowed to at the end. What I wanted to share about myself was, first of all, I'm going to be posting a link to a blog, a video blog that I've started with the challenge. It's been tough to update every single day, but I'm doing my best. I may do weekends off so that I can find the time to actually edit and upload and do all those things, because it's a little challenging to do it all. But I've started it. I have a few days up already, and I'm posting these calls on there as well. So you guys can also watch the other calls in your spare time if you'd like to, and catch up with that as well. And this week, just to sum it up, was full of like ups and downs, but it was majorly cool and amazing. The ups and downs were, it's not my first time doing it. I wasn't like day one, like jumping out of bed, which I kind of expected to. And I felt bad about that, and it was spiraling into these bad feelings at first, but then I caught myself, and really what shifted for me this time is the awareness that I have about what's going on in my head and how I'm behaving, and I'll be able to transform that as I go, and look at my wins, and really find ways to ask the right questions. So I ask the right questions, and I find better strategies to work with, and I continue from there. And as I went throughout the week, it's day 7 for me. As the week went on, things started coming to me that really relate to all the things that I've been wanting to achieve. So I may not have completed 10 tasks on my list, but other things that come and help me accomplish my other goals have showed up in my life. And that's exactly what I think that this is about. It's the magic of being focused. Where focus goes, energy flows. And when the energy flows there, things happen that you didn't even know were possible. And you find yourselves in like incredible situations. Like for me, this is manifestation, right? What's happening right here with you guys is like incredible. I couldn't imagine this, and I'm so grateful to be here. And I want to give us a chance to do a little exercise just to breathe in. Sorry, did someone try to say something? No. Okay, so I want to give us a chance to do a little bit of breathing, a tiny bit of visualizing, and end the call powerfully with some celebrating and rocking out. And if anybody wants to say 30 seconds of what they got out of the call after this exercise, you're welcome to do that. So if you guys are at home or in a comfortable place, unless you're driving, then sit yourselves down in a comfortable situation. If you'd like, if it's more comfortable for you to breathe with your audio muted, so you can do it with passion, you can feel free to mute yourselves. If you want, you can put a tissue next to you or something like that. We're going to do some of the breathing from the priming, and I'll walk you through it as we go. We're going to start with 2 normal deep breaths, and into some power breaths, and I'll walk you through it. Like I said, I'm just going to put some music on with us. All right. So before you even close your eyes, I just want you to kind of stretch out for 1 minute. You've been on a call, you've been sitting down, listening, just stretch yourselves out, stretch your bodies out. Make sure you feel good, relaxed. Relax your face muscles. Stretch them out a bit. Shake it up. All right, and now take 1 deep breath. Take it in. And exhale. Next breath you take in. Try to make sure you're breathing a diaphragmatic breath. So inhale, hold your breath in, give it a few seconds. And exhale. Now we're going to take another deep breath like that. And when you're inhaling, inhale every good feeling that you can imagine wanting to have inside you right now. Just pull it in. The happiness, the gratitude, the love, the power, the strength, whatever it is. And keep it in there for a moment and hold your breath. And as you're holding your breath in, feel those feelings going throughout your body and traveling to all the places where you want them to go right now. Put your focus on where it's going and feel it becoming like this ball of warm fire traveling through your body. And if you need to exhale, you can start exhaling right now. And as you exhale, make sure you're taking out whatever doesn't belong there. Any stress, any worry, any fear, any doubt. Just take that out and get rid of it. Throw it out. Now I want you to take one more breath like that. Think of more things that you can pull in and you can breathe in to your body. Breathe it in and feel your stomach expanding. And then hold your breath and just give yourself a moment and feel it traveling through your body. And ask yourself, what is it making you feel? What's possible for you? And when you breathe out, just breathe out everything that could still come in the way and just leave the incredible, incredible you. Leave yourself completely empty of anything besides the amazing feelings that you just put into your body. Now we're going to take 30 rapid breaths, just like we took at the events. And we're going to put our hands up every time we inhale. And when we do that, we're going to make sure that when we're exhaling, we're pulling the energy in and we can really feel it. We're going to do 30 reps like that and do them really quickly. 1, 2, 3, go. When you're done, inhale and exhale. We're going to go again. Get ready. Set. Go. Inhale and exhale. We're going to go one more time. Ready? Go. This time, put your hands on your heart. Feel that heartbeat. How amazing is that your heart is beating right now and allowing you to be here on this earth in this incredible, magical world, along with other people just like you all over the world that care and love and have so much compassion and, respect for this life and are willing to put themselves in a challenging position to, you know, to make a difference, to make life count, to make life amazing. Be grateful for that. Be grateful for being here. Now think of something that you can acknowledge yourself for, and tell yourself that in your head. Say, I acknowledge myself for, and then say it to you. Keep repeating it so that you really, really feel it. You can say your name when you're doing it too. Think of what impact that makes on your life. That thing that you acknowledge yourself for. What kind of impact does it do? See that impact. Now I want you to think of someone in your life that you really care about. And I want you to transfer the power that you have now, the good feelings that you stored inside, all the strength that you're getting from the challenge. I want you to give that person that gift. Really visualize them getting that as well. Transfer that ball of fire that you have in your heart. Transfer it to them. And see them smile. Then go ahead and find someone else in your life that you can transfer that to as well. And take a moment to be with them too. Feel yourself empowering them. Now pick a third person and do the same. Share that moment with them. Just be there with them. Experience them being empowered in your presence. Now I want you guys to see those three people, one next to the other, and see their power and feel the power that's there present from you and them together. And I want you to take that and form one powerful ball of empowerment and power and strength and love and courage. I want you to form that ball, and I want you to think, what place, what community, what people deserve to have this ball roll to them right now, and just see yourself giving that out to them. And take a moment to really visualize the situation, the place, the people, and how they feel about getting the power, the strength, and the love. What kind of contribution that can make. See that ball expanding even more and reaching even larger places. You created that. Make it even bigger. Feel it. Feel the impact that you are. Remember that this is what you're here for. This is what you work so hard for. This is what you can do for the world. Now make it so large that it fills up the entire universe. And see yourself as one connected spirit to everything and anything in this world. Whether it be the people on this call, or it be the people, the huge amount of people at the events that were there with you. Whether it be anyone in your city or country, anyone, anything, any animal, any plant. Feel the energy flowing through you and through everything around you. And I want you to store that in. And now ask yourself one last question, and that is, with this strength that is within me now, what am I going to accomplish at the end of this challenge? Who am I going to be being? What am I going to be doing? And not necessarily your goals, but how are you going to be feeling, and who are you going to be for people around you? Step into that. Step into the you that you are 100 days from now, or as many days as you have left on the challenge. Be that person. Take a deep breath and feel the accomplishment that it is to be that person. Look at your life now that you're that person at the end of this challenge, and look at what difference it's made. And just enjoy that for a moment. How is it affecting your day-to-day life? How's it affecting the people around you? Now tell yourself, I am committed. I want you to say it out loud. Say, I am committed.
I am committed.
Store in those feelings. Store them right in and use this as your energy for the next week or the next few days that you're on this challenge. And then get ready, because we're gonna rock. Clap your hands.
Life will be the same again.
Woo!
Yay! You got something on?
Say yes.
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 Say yes.
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 Make the sound of unstoppable intensity. It is you. All
You
right,
got something on your nose.
The one.
That was beautiful, Yali. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much for attending this call today, and I appreciate it so much. I'm sending you guys all the power in the world for the next week. Please use our group for sharing everything that you're going through. Those of you who have been sharing, thank you so much for making such a difference. It's amazing and incredible. If you guys want to pair up with each other for accountability, I will post a little post a few minutes from now, and you guys can comment on that and tell us if you were looking for a partner. You can partner up. That'll be awesome as well. And I'll share more, and I'll share my blog with you guys. And thank you again. If anyone wants 30 seconds to say what they got out of the call, you're welcome to do so.
I got a 3-win partner in the phone call. Janie and me. Peace out.
Good luck, girls. That's awesome.
Well done.
It's really great to have a partner. It's great.
We're reporting our 3 wins every night.
Every night. Maybe we might have 4 or 5.
Overachievers.
Perfect. Anybody else want to share something or say thank you?
Yeah, just thank
Hey,
you.
this is Christy.
Hi.
Hey, I was really overwhelmed by that exercise, and there was somebody that did something really, really bad, and I was having a hard time forgiving them, even though I knew that I should, because what they did was so bad. And I didn't know it was going to happen, but I gave my love and power to that person, and it was really a beautiful thing. So thank you so much.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And if you guys have ideas for the next call, then definitely shoot me a message. So, you know, these calls are for you, and it's important that we all get empowered. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes to step up and do that, make it happen.
And as I've said, you know, I'm involved in dog rescue, and there's so many people out there working in shelters, and they work so hard, and it's so it's such a thankless job. So I sent all that love and energy to all the people in the shelters doing that shelter work, and let them feel acknowledged, and it was beautiful.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. Also, something that came up for me that I'm going to share with you on the blog too is that I'm going to put this 100-day challenge towards. I didn't put this on my goals, but I've decided this yesterday. I'm going to put a goal to start working towards building a school. And it's kind of a dream for me, and I'll share more about that with you guys in my blog. It'll be amazing. Anybody else?
I just thank all of you for sharing 90 or 100 minutes with all of us to really light us up and get us empowered and on fire for the week to come. So thank you. It's a blessing and a joy to be with all of you this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for being on. All right. We're going to wrap up the call with the last celebration. You guys can hang up while it's going on. So let's celebrate. Thank you once again. Thank you so much. Woo!
Don't be mad, stop. Hate is bad. One more shot for us. Another round. It's still up. Come. That's all right. We just want to see. Take it back.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.